Picture this. It's the late 1980s. The trading pits of Chicago are roaring. Traders shoulder to shoulder, screaming orders, waving hand signals, the floor shaking under the weight of chaos. It's a battlefield of money, noise, and nerves. And right in the middle of that storm, a young woman stands her ground, calm, sharp, and deadly focused. That woman was Linda Raschke. Back then, the pits weren't friendly places. They were dominated by aggressive men, and very few women dared to step into that arena. But Linda wasn't intimidated. She wasn't there to prove a point. She was there to win. While others got lost in the frenzy, chasing every tick of the market, Linda had something different: discipline, patience, and a razor-sharp edge. And that edge paid off. While many traders burned out, blew up their accounts, or faded into obscurity, Linda Raschke rose above the noise. She turned her skill into millions and built a reputation as one of the most consistent traders of her generation. She survived the 1987 market crash, navigated multiple boom and bust cycles, and seamlessly adapted when trading moved from the pits to electronic screens. Where others failed, Linda thrived. Her story proves something powerful. Trading success isn't built on luck, predictions, or flashy calls. It's built on discipline, process, and psychology. And today, we're unlocking 7 trading secrets from Linda Raschke. Principles that not only made her a millionaire, but have stood the test of time. So if you're serious about trading, pay attention, because these aren't just tips, they're survival tools. Secret 1. Discipline is non-negotiable. Linda often said, trading is a business, not a hobby. And that one line sums up her entire philosophy. Think about it. A hobby is casual. You do it when you're in the mood. If you skip a few days, no big deal. If you mess up, you shrug it off. But a business? That's a different game. A real business demands structure, systems, and accountability. You track your numbers. You manage your resources. You show up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Linda treated trading the same way. She wasn't waking up hoping to get lucky or chasing some perfect trade. She had rules. She had processes. And most importantly, she had the discipline to follow them, even when it wasn't exciting. For her, every trade was like inventory in a store. Just as a store owner can't get emotionally attached to one item on the shelf, Linda never fell in love with a single trade. If it sold, great. If it didn't, she moved on. There was always another opportunity coming. And here's the key. Discipline wasn't something she used when she felt strong. It was something she built into her routine, so she didn't have to rely on willpower in the heat of the moment. This is why Linda could trade for decades while others flamed out in months. Most traders get caught in emotions, revenge trading, doubling down, breaking their own rules. Linda's discipline was like armor. It protected her account, her mindset, and her longevity. Because in trading, it's not the market that destroys most people, it's their lack of discipline. Secret 2. Focus on high probability setups. When most traders saw price flicker, they jumped in. A little movement here, a small breakout there. Chasing every shadow, desperate not to miss the move. But Linda Raschke was different. She had the patience of a sniper. She waited. Her rule was simple: only play the best hands. That meant setups that had proven edges, structures she had studied, tracked, and traded thousands of times. Whether it was a volatility expansion, a pullback within a trend, or a breakout from consolidation, Linda only acted when the odds tilted firmly in her favor. This wasn't gambling. It was a calculated probability, much like counting cards in blackjack. Imagine sitting at the table and only betting when you know the deck is stacked in your favor. That's how Linda approached trading. And here's the difference. Most traders confuse activity with productivity. They believe that being in the market all the time equals making money. But Linda knew better. For her, doing nothing was often the smartest move, because waiting for the right setup is part of the game. One of her favorite lines was, "Your edge is only as good as the discipline to wait for it." That patience is what kept her profitable, while the majority got chewed up by noise. Think of it this way. A hunter doesn't fire at every rustle in the bushes. They wait for the clear shot. Linda brought that same discipline to her charts. Because trading isn't about how many trades you take, it's about how many good trades you take. And in Linda's world, high probability setups weren't optional. They were the only game worth playing. Secret 3, risk first, profit second. Before entering any trade, Linda asked herself one simple question. How much can I lose if I'm wrong? Now, that might sound obvious, but it's actually revolutionary. Most traders enter a position with stars in their eyes. They dream about how much they'll make if the trade goes right. They start calculating profits before the market even moves a tick in their favor. And that mindset is deadly. Linda flipped the script. She didn't start with profit projections. She started with risk. She wanted to know, if I'm dead wrong on this trade, can I live with the loss? Will it damage my account? Will it affect my ability to trade tomorrow? If the answer was no, she simply didn't take the trade. This is why she survived decades in markets that chewed up thousands of traders. By putting risk first, she created a built-in safety net. It allowed her to weather losing streaks, stay mentally clear, and keep capital intact for the next opportunity. Think about it this way. A trader who risks everything on one perfect setup might win once, maybe even twice. But eventually, the market humbles everyone. And when that loss comes, it wipes them out completely. Linda avoided that trap by treating risk as the cost of doing business. Just like a store owner pays rent or utilities, she considered small losses a natural expense. She didn't fear them, and she never let one loss spiral into catastrophe. And here's the deeper truth she lived by. Control the downside, and the upside takes care of itself. Because if you stay in the game long enough, the winners will come. But you can't capitalize on them if you've already blown up your account. That's why Linda never asked, how much can I make? She always asked, how much can I lose? And can I survive it? That single shift in perspective is one of the greatest trading secrets of all time. Secret 4, price action over predictions. Most traders want to feel smart. They love predicting where the economy is headed, arguing about interest rates, or listening to endless forecasts on TV. But here's the problem. The market doesn't care about your predictions. It doesn't care about your opinions. Linda Raschke understood this better than almost anyone. She didn't waste energy trying to guess what the Federal Reserve would say next, or whether the economy was heading for recession. She focused on the only thing that truly matters, price. For her, charts were not just lines and candles. They were the raw language of the market. Every tick, every bar, every burst of volatility told a story about supply, demand, fear, and greed in real time. Price was her compass. Volatility was her weather report. Momentum was her fuel gauge. Instead of clinging to theories, she traded the reality right in front of her. This gave her an incredible edge, especially during chaotic times. While others froze, waiting for confirmation from news headlines or expert predictions, Linda was already acting on what price action revealed. For example, if a market was breaking out with strength, she didn't second-guess it because some analyst on TV said the fundamentals didn't line up. If momentum confirmed the move, she followed it. Simple as that. Her philosophy was, trade what you see, not what you think. And it's powerful because opinions can be wrong for months or even years. But price action, that's the truth in front of you right now. By trusting the tape, Linda avoided one of the biggest traps in trading, marrying an idea instead of following the market. Because at the end of the day, predictions feed the ego. Price action feeds the account. Secret 5, build a daily routine. Linda's mornings weren't random, and they definitely weren't rushed. Every day began with structure. Before the opening bell, she reviewed the markets carefully, checking key support and resistance levels, scanning overnight activity, and mapping out potential scenarios for the day. She wasn't guessing. She was preparing. Why? Because a trader without preparation is like a pilot flying blind. No flight plan, no navigation, no awareness of what lies ahead. And just like a pilot, a trader who doesn't prepare is almost guaranteed to crash sooner or later. For Linda, confidence didn't come from some magical gut feeling. It came from knowing she was ready for whatever the market threw her way. She once said that her daily routine gave her an anchor. Without it, emotions could take over. But with it, she had a calm, professional mindset before the first trade even hit the screen. Her process wasn't just about charts and numbers. It was also about mental preparation. She approached trading like an athlete before a big game, stretching, reviewing the playbook, focusing the mind. By the time she sat down to trade, she wasn't reactive. She was ready. And here's the beauty of it. This routine wasn't glamorous. It wasn't complicated. It was consistent, day after day, week after week. Because the truth is, routine builds discipline, and discipline builds results. Most traders lose because they treat every day like a new adventure. Random, unplanned, driven by emotion. Linda turned trading into a craft by turning preparation into a ritual. So here's the takeaway. If you want consistency in your results, start with consistency in your routine. Secret 6, small edges, repeated often. Here's where Linda Raschke separated herself from the crowd. She never chased the fantasy of the life-changing trade. She wasn't looking for the one big jackpot that would supposedly set her up forever. Instead, she focused on something far less glamorous, but infinitely more powerful, repeating small, reliable edges again and again. Think about a professional casino. They don't care about any single hand of blackjack or spin of the roulette wheel. What matters is their edge. Maybe 2%, maybe 5%. That tiny edge, repeated thousands of times, guarantees their long-term profits. Linda applied the same philosophy to her trading. Her setups didn't have to be spectacular. They just had to have a measurable edge, a volatility breakout, a pullback in a trend, a mean reversion bounce. Nothing magical, just patterns with slightly better odds than a coin flip. And then she repeated them over and over and over. Her philosophy was clear. Consistency comes from hitting singles, not swinging for home runs. Most traders burn out because they swing for the fences. They want the massive win, the trade they can brag about, the story they can tell. But that mentality is dangerous. Big trades mean big risks, and big risks eventually lead to big losses. Linda avoided that trap. She built her career the way a craftsman builds mastery, through repetition, through practice, through steady execution. Each trade was just one in a long series, not a make-or-break event. And here's the beauty of it. Small edges compound. One good trade might not change your life, but string together 1,000 of them with proper risk management, and suddenly you've built something extraordinary. That's how Linda created longevity. That's how she stayed in the game for decades while others came and went. She knew the truth most traders ignore. The market doesn't reward gamblers. It rewards those who can consistently extract small profits and protect them over time. Because at the end of the day, trading isn't about getting rich quick. It's about getting rich for sure. Secret 7. Money management is everything. A great trading system, no matter how brilliant, is useless without risk control. Linda Raschke understood this better than almost anyone. She knew that even the best setups, the most precise analysis, and the sharpest intuition could still fail. Markets are unpredictable, and losses are inevitable. That's why she made money management the foundation of every trade. Linda sized her positions carefully. She knew exactly how much risk each trade carried before she even clicked enter. She didn't guess. She didn't rely on gut feelings. Every position was calculated so that a single loss could never destroy her account or her confidence. Think about it. A trader can survive 100 small losses if their risk is controlled. Each loss is a learning opportunity, a temporary setback, nothing more. But one oversized bet gone wrong, that's game over. The market doesn't care about your ego. It doesn't care about how clever you are, and it won't hesitate to take you out completely. Linda never gave the market that chance. Her approach was simple but powerful. Protect the downside first, and the profits will follow. She treated her capital like a precious resource, something to nurture, not gamble recklessly. And this mindset did more than just protect her account. It gave her freedom. Freedom to take trades she believed in, freedom to stick to her strategy, and freedom to remain calm even in the face of chaos. In other words, money management wasn't just a rule. It was a shield, a tool, and a strategy all in one. Because in trading, survival comes first. Profits come second. And if you can master your losses, you'll have the opportunity to compound gains for decades, just like Linda Raschke did. Linda Raschke's journey proves a powerful truth. Trading success isn't about being a genius or predicting the future. It's about discipline, risk management, and consistency. She didn't just survive the markets, she mastered them decade after decade. So I'll leave you with this question. Which of Linda's 7 secrets will you start applying today? If you found this valuable, smash that like button, subscribe for more trading wisdom, and share this video with a fellow trader. Because at the end of the day, just like Linda says, survival is the ultimate edge. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.